Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
Only when we have knelt before God can we stand before men. America needs help. America needs prayer. Good morning, everybody. Here comes Kate Smith, and God bless America, followed by a patriot with our Pledge of Allegiance on this Monday. Good morning. And a good morning, everybody. I'm Zeb Bell, Zeb at the Ranch, on a Monday morning, October 2nd. And, of course, we're brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you. A big fall tire sale going on right now, and including Western Way services, always at your disposal. Call them at 734-6969. Right now, let's go to the phone line and have our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning.
Good morning, Zeb.
Yes, sir.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Jerry.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. I thought I'd beat everybody to that, Zeb.
God bless you.
You've been hanging around this over 70 years now.
Well, that's true, and God bless you and your family for always your cards and your thoughts. Jerry, you're a dear, dear friend. Thank you so much.
You bet. You have a wonderful day, and may the Lord bless you and every one of them little children and older people out there listening
all right.
this morning to your program.
Thank you very much, my dear friend. Thank you. Very, very kind gentleman that has been a friend of mine for many, many years. Also, today is Rodney Johnson's birthday, so we wish a very happy birthday to Rodney Johnson. So thank you very much. Time for the weather, and the weather brought to you by K&R Rental at 256 South, 600 West of Heyburn. Number to call, 678-3122. They're open Monday through Friday, starting open at 7 o'clock in the morning with everything you need. All the tools, all the equipment, from forklifts all the way to lawnmowers. You better stop over and see Roger and the crew at K&R Rental in Heyburn. Right now, here's the weather.
Here's your weather forecast as we saddle up and ride again for this weekend. Today we are looking at mostly cloudy skies, looking at a 20% chance of rain showers, high near 51. Going to be a little bit on the breezy side, winds out of the west-southwest, right around 11 miles an hour. Tonight, partly cloudy skies with a low right near 30. Then for tomorrow, mostly sunny skies, high of 53. Mostly sunny and 57 for Wednesday, looking at a high of 61 for Thursday. That's your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
All right, thank you, Gina. Thank you so much. K&R Rental brings you the weather. And, of course, they're also a Honda engine dealer. Don't forget they got all the parts you might need for those wheel lines. Excuse me. Roger and the crew, they've been in business since 1979. Call K&R Rental at 678-3122, bringing you the weather. We, unfortunately, this morning have a story that is going to take prominence probably for the bulk of our broadcast this morning, and that's the horrendous happenings in Las Vegas. Caller, I'll be right with you. Stand by, please. I also want to acknowledge our friends at Daryl's Cleaners. If you're going hunting and you got a big trip planned and you haven't unrolled that sleeping bag since last year and you got all the Cheetos and the salsa and everything inside that bag, get it cleaned at Daryl's Cleaners, 1223 Albion Avenue in Burley. They can clean anything. Curtains, bed sheets, covers, coats. It's all ready to go, and they do the best job of anyone. Let me tell you, Daryl's Cleaners at 1223 Albion Avenue in Burley. You stop in and see them today. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Happy birthday, old friend.
Hey. Holy cow, good morning. I got people walking in my door, too. Doug, thank you. How are you?
I'm getting snowed on down here.
What?
Yes, sir.
You're getting snow?
To the north.
Oh,
and
my.
There is white stuff falling instead of raindrops.
Well, going back to your initial statement, I appreciate that kind response of happy birthday. Yes, it is a big birthday today, and I'm not sure I'm equal to the burden.
Oh, you can handle it, my friend.
Okay.
Just another day.
God bless you.
Also, I want to send out my thoughts and prayers to everybody in Las Vegas, the families of the people who were killed and the ones who were hurt. May the Lord just touch them and heal them and help them through this tragedy time.
And I'm going to say this, some dear friends just walked in the door, but I will say this, Doug, and I think you'll agree with me, is prayer right now, like I said in the opening remarks, absolutely necessary. And I have done concerts in Las Vegas in that area. And I'll tell you what, I woke up at 3:45 this morning and turned on the news and heard about this, and it gave me a real chill, and I just pray for those people and their families.
I do. I do with you also. Have a good day. Happy birthday.
God bless you. Thank you. Come on in, you folks. We got George and Donna Mass here. Oh, my goodness. And they're singing, too.
Birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Zebby. Happy birthday to you.
Well, how nice. A cake. What? Is that a German chocolate cake?
Yes, sir.
Is that a really good-looking, yes, it is, German chocolate cake?
Yes.
The only thing that's wrong with that chocolate cake is the numbers on top of it.
You burned every one of them.
That's better, George. Thank you. Turns it around. God bless you, both of you. And get on the air for a quick second. Grab that mic. And I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll pay some bills here real quick, and then I'll talk to both of you. Thank you very much for your kind comments. It's on. It's on. No, the other one right there. I'm sorry. I want to remind everybody about Denny's Restaurant at 611 North Overland in Burley, and, of course, 291 Pole Line Road in Twin Falls, and, of course, America's Diner. You can stop in anytime, all the time, breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and I can guarantee you our lunch bunch loves going to Denny's. And Thomas and Terry, everybody, we have such a good time there, and they're such nice people. Don't forget, also, they sponsor the Denny's football giveaway for the Great Big Grand Slam breakfast on Thursdays, Denny's Restaurant. 611 North Overland in Burley and 291 Pole Line in Twin Falls. Yep, it is America's Diner. Well, gee, thank you for the cake and the basket. I don't have time to open that right now, but I wished I did, the gift and everything.
It's okay.
You're going to open it for me? George is going to open it for me, right?
Well, he's like a little kid at Christmas. He don't wait till Christmas to
wait a minute. He's got a shirt, and it says, "No, you're right. Let's do the dumbest way possible because it's easier for you." I love that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You have been dear friends and so committed to helping the community and everything, and God bless you. I appreciate it.
Well, we do right along with you, sir. You do a lot, too.
Well...
And I'm really glad you brought it. I was going to put candles all the way around there, but I figured we couldn't afford to call the fire department.
No, I was afraid they'd fly a helicopter over my house and have one of those big buckets of water they get from Murtaugh Lake and douse the whole place. 70 candles is way too many.
That's a lot.
Of course, now, George is over 70, isn't he?
You'll never be as old as him.
I see.
That's what I tell him all the time, too.
Okay, well, now, I want to say thank you very much. Let George say say just a word here. Thanks, Donna.
Good morning, Zeb.
Hello, young man. How are you?
Doing good.
You know, George, thank you for the birthday gift and the cake, but today's kind of a sad day, really, when you hear the news and all that's happening down in Las Vegas. It just makes you shudder.
It does. And, you know, Zeb, people should pack. You know, if somebody would have been armed in that, close to that area, knew where that's coming from, it might have stopped it a little quicker.
I don't know. This was a completely premeditated attack in Las Vegas, had been planned for weeks. He had leased the room since, I think it was September 27th or 28th, and had all the weapons, had cameras set up so that he could observe anybody coming in the room. I've stayed at the Mandalay Bay in the past, and like I said, I've put concerts on in Vegas, down on the street, and it's just horrific what happened.
It is, Zeb. And, you know, a lot of this domestic violence that comes, I think a lot of it comes out of Hollywood, the movies they produce. It's all sex and violence.
I agree.
There's no good family movies coming out anymore.
I won't disagree with you, though. I heard an entertainer this morning early at 3:45 when I got up. And this girl said the same thing that you just said a few moments ago. It's just more proof, I think, that we need to have the citizens more armed and aware of what's happening in this country.
Yes, I do. And then you look at all the video games and stuff, you know, Zeb, that's the people, not all, but most of the people that's committing the deals now is kids grew up with the violence, videos,
the violence. Yeah. Absolutely agree with you totally. George, don't leave. I mean, I know that when there's food involved, you'll hang around till the last dog is still lapping up everything. So
I'm going to go in there and butter up your wife. She might have a little piece of that cake.
I hope she does.
Zeb, happy birthday, my friend.
God bless you, my dear friend. Thank you so much. Caller, I'll be right with you in a moment. Stand by, please. I've got to pay some bills, and I want to remind everybody about Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. For all your heating and electrical and cooling needs, not so much on the cooling right now, but the heating needs. Don't forget they've got all your furnace filters, everything to keep you snuggy warm this winter. Ramsey Heating and Electric, open at 7:30 in the morning till 5, Monday through Friday, 678-0459. All your heating, cooling, and electrical needs at Ramsey Heating and Electric. Also, real fast, want to remind everybody about Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. These folks really, really care, and they've got the best of physical therapists there to help you and kind of overcome all the aches and pains and the injuries and the accidents and the surgeries. Let me tell you, they really helped me in that hydrotherapy pool. Oh, I've walked 1,000,000 miles in that pool, and it does help. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. The number to call for an appointment, 678-1191. They can and they will help you get back to being you. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Well, happy birthday there, little buddy. Pretty soon you're going to be catching up with me.
You know, I'm blessed with all the things that have happened in my life. I'm just honestly blessed, and with friends like you and Mary, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
I think we have there just another radicalized American who was his live-in that he had. The police are looking for her, and she's from Indonesia, and Indonesia's got major problems over there with radical Muslims. And I think he was probably that bunch.
Well, I'm not going to make any speculation on my program because I won't do it until I have all the facts. And I want to really find out. Las Vegas, I think PD and all the FBI that's there and everything will know sooner or later what really took place, how it took place, and why it took place. But I'm not one to speculate in a situation like this, Tony, because too many bad things can happen.
Oh, I know that. And I think what's happening in Las Vegas there is to place fear in the hearts of the American people.
Well, there's no question in my mind that if I were there doing a concert like I have in the past, and I really can have a lot of empathy with those people, if I were there and this had happened, I mean, it's a horrendous happening, and it was a country music concert featuring the top entertainers in country music at a Harvest 91 festivity they've had, 22 to 25,000 people there. It was absolutely horrendous.
Well, unfortunately, the American people are under siege. This whole country is, and I have a disgust with the Democratic Party because I feel that they're all for open borders and everything else, and this whole mess that happened down there is going to be blamed on Donald Trump.
You know, unfortunately, Tony, I think you're probably spot on. But like I said, I'm going to watch the chips fall, and then I'm going to see where they lay, and then I'm going to go after my attack on various individuals and groups will stem after I find out all the facts. But thank you so much for your well wishes.
I know you'll do that. That's
all right,
why
buddy.
We keep on with you.
All right, Tony.
Okay, Zeb.
Thank you, my dear friend. Thank you, sir, very much. Yeah, you know, the one thing I'm going to be really careful of this morning, I have my own contacts that I have called already this morning and talked about this situation in Las Vegas. But I've got to be really, really careful, and we all should, not jumping to conclusions or jumping to a bottom line fact when we do not have all the facts yet. And we do know the shooter's name was Stephen Paddock. We do know his age, 64 years of age, which surprised me. It did. We do know about possible other people involved with knowledge of this event. But we don't know exactly the why. The why. Don't forget our friends with Lennox and Ramsey Heating and Electric, of course, teaming up with Lennox for your great, comfortable Lennox indoor comfort systems. Absolutely. You could possibly get up to a $1,600 rebate on a new Lennox home comfort system. All you have to do is call Ramsey Heating and Electric at 678-0459 today. By the way, too, I want to remind everybody that's a senior citizen that, you know, if you're living at home by yourself and you honestly are taking a lot of risk and a lot of chances, because, you know, the isolation of being alone is bad enough. And then worrying about the safety hazards, possibly getting in and out of the shower or getting up and slipping on a throw rug or something, poor nutrition, just don't want to get up and make any meals, or maybe you say, well, I'll take my medication tomorrow. You really ought to think about Pomerelle Place, a place for senior living at 1301 Bennett Street in Burley. That address again, 1301 Bennett Street in Burley. Pomerelle Place, a place for senior living, and you can maintain your independence and your safety and live comfortably at a Pomerelle Place. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Literally, the news coming in about what happened in Las Vegas, at least, and this just makes me so sad, at least 50 people dead for doing nothing but attending an outdoor concert. Possibly as many as 400 injured. And the shooter up on the 32nd floor, I have stayed, I don't remember if it was on the 32nd floor or not, but I've stayed up in the upper elevations of the Mandalay Bay, and shot down on the crowd with automatic weapons. Hundreds and hundreds of bullets, creating mass carnage. The windows, as you may or may not know, do not open. Maybe some windows might only open up about an inch to give you any semblance of fresh air whatsoever, but the windows are designed so that they won't open, and so the windows had to be blown out, shot out, or whatever. And like I said, hundreds of rounds were fired in Las Vegas last night at approximately 10 p.m. And I don't think enough can be said about the great efforts by the police, the quick responders, The hospitals are being overrun, trying to serve and help everyone. Policemen died, shielding and protecting other individuals. Now, you may say, if you're of the liberal bent, that what I'm about to say might not be advisable at this time, but I'm going to come right out and say it anyway. For those that would stand in defiance or kneel in defiance and call our policemen pigs and absolutely kneel for the national anthem against them. Look at the situation in Las Vegas last night where the police literally ran to help these other people and shielded them with their own bodies, and some of them shot and killed. There's not one NFL player that had better take a knee from this day forward. The original concept with Colin Kaepernick was to wear these goofy nitwit socks that showed police as pigs, etc., police brutality. The only thing that was brutal last night was the shooter shooting at all these defenseless people and the police jumping in and trying to save and protect their lives. And I warn the NFL, I will do anything, whether it's a national campaign I'm going to start or whatever, to fire every one of these players. And I agree with Donald Trump. If you don't like it, that's tough. Fire every one of these players that shows the disrespect not only to our country, but the people that serve our country. Last night, and some of the reports I heard this morning from some of the people about how the police were just absolutely hovering over the wounded to protect them, shield them with their own bodies. There had better not be, again, I'll reiterate, one dumb NFL player take a knee from this point on. And for those that did yesterday, the three I saw from the Seattle Seahawks, I condemn you. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Gano Landscaping and Sprinkler Service at 336 South, 450 West of Paul. The numbers to call, 438-2485 or 431-8733. All your trees that need trimming and pruning, better get it done. If Doug said it was snowing earlier this morning, whoo, you don't want a great big limb coming through your window. And also, think about this, if you want to put a new sprinkler system in, you better call them and say, hurry, 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 please help me. They can help, they will help. Gano Landscaping and Sprinkler Service in Paul, 431-8733. Really good people. By the way, too, I want to remind everybody, I got to get the papers changed right here. We are very, very blessed to have, and they started here about a week ago on our program, and I want to just highlight what great people they are at Dino's in Rupert, septic tank service. Now, a lot of people call her, I'll be right there, a lot of people don't realize it until it's too late. Oh, boy, I better call somebody. The old septic tank needs to be pumped, or maybe something's got to be fixed, and septic inspections, liquid waste removal. These are the people at Dino's. You better give them a call today in Rupert, 436-6526. Burley, 678-1638. Fast, fair, and always friendly service. And on their truck, they've got a great big motto that says, smells cargo. Let me tell you what, they are the best, and they're serving you at Dino's Septic Service. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Morning, Zeb. You know, I haven't watched a single football game since they started this kneeling business.
Good for you. And I've turned off most of them. As a matter of fact, I just absolutely don't want to give them any credence whatsoever. I did turn in a couple games to see who was kneeling or not.
Yep. You know, I think we ought to. I've been hearing a lot of talk about boycotting the NFL, and I think that's a good idea as long as they're doing this kneeling business, because that is absolutely disrespectful. And let's just say it's just no good.
I appreciate it. Rodney, I got to run and give away some cookies, but I want to wish you a very happy birthday today. God bless you, my friend.
You too, and God bless you, and let's keep up the good work.
All right, sir. Thanks, Rodney. I appreciate it. Right now, I got to give away a dozen cookies to Sophie's Chatterbox at 530 East Street in Rupert. The number to call over there, 436-0354. Great restaurant, super bakery, cookies and pies and all kinds of different desserts. Oh, my goodness, at Sophie's Chatterbox. Here's the question this morning. Before Dale Evans married Roy Rogers, what did she do for a living? Before Dale Evans married Roy Rogers, what did she do for a living? Call me at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. You may win a dozen cookies from Sophie's Chatterbox in Rupert, right on the square. Before Dale Evans married Roy Rogers, what did she do? Okay, give me a call quickly. I want to hear what your answer is. While we're waiting for your call, I also want to remind you quickly about Berry Equipment and Rental. Caller, I'll be right there. Berry Equipment and Rental, sales, service, and parts on South Lincoln and Jerome, Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls, and 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. All your equipment, your Bobcat excavators, new and used, oh my, all shapes and sizes for sale or rent. Right there, where they have all the equipment to get the job done right. Berry Equipment and Rental, Jerome, Twin Falls, and old Juan and the crew at 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. You stop in and see them today. Caller, good morning. What's your answer?
Answer is that I believe she was a waitress at a cafe.
No. Right before she married Roy Rogers, she was doing something else, but I do appreciate your call. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Bye.
What did Dale Evans do for a living before she married Roy Rogers? Give us a call and let me know. And if you followed their careers at all, this should be a fairly easy question to answer at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call. What did Dale Evans do before she married Roy Rogers? And you'll win a dozen cookies from Sophie's Chatterbox. Okay, come on, give me a call quickly. And another call coming in. Thank you very much. What is the answer?
Was she a singer, actress?
I'm going to go with your first answer, and she was a singer. Who is this?
Lisa Blacker.
Lisa. Well, hello, Lisa. How are you?
I'm good, Zeb. Thank you.
As a matter of fact, she was a singer and a piano player. And she, of course, went on to sing in a lot of the TV series and everything after she married Roy. But primarily, she was a singer and a piano player, and they met, and the rest is history. So, Lisa, you're the winner. Call Sophie's and let them know when you'll be in for your cookies.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Lisa Blacker. Nice lady right there. And the answer, Dale Evans, was a singer and piano player. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. You know, there's too much of a pattern going on right now. We had in Edmonton, Alberta, a person with a U-Haul truck and trailer, and then running over people, hitting a policeman, getting out and stabbing him. Over in Paris, another shooting, etc. And then this mess in Las Vegas. And are we becoming immune to this? Is it something that we, the American public, are just going, happened again? I hope that there is not an immunity. I hope there is not a callousness that's formed by this. There are other things that are really bothering me this morning. In regards to what's going on in our world, there is a stoppage, if you will, by the left of saying that people like myself and others, they want to regulate what we say, our opinions. They want to regulate our attitude on immigration. They want to regulate and stymie our attitude on refugees coming into this country. I'm really in a worried mode this morning of a set pattern by the left, even here in the Magic Valley, that is trying to stymie free thought, free speech, so that we all mold and conform to the liberalized way of thinking. If you can't see it, start studying the problem, because what you say or what you think might be their next target. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Horrendous shooting in Las Vegas, and the hospitals and quick response people overrun with people needing help. And I'm going to be trying after the program this morning to get a hold of various friends of mine down in Las Vegas so we can basically tomorrow on the program give you a first-person, on-the-scene type approach as to what happened. I know some people possibly that were at that concert, and we're going to try to get them on the air tomorrow morning. It was just absolutely terrible, and what a jolt to my system and my wife's. We turned on that television at 4:45 this morning when we got up, and all of a sudden there it was blatantly talking about this just terrible, horrific shooting in Las Vegas. Caller, I'll be right there. I want to remind everybody that if you're looking for the world's best plumber, he's in Burley, Idaho. Harris Plumbing NG. The number to call, 431-8633. One call does it all for all your plumbing service needs. This man, Nathan Harris, his staff, absolutely excellence, and they have a dedication to perfection, and I can attest to that because of the work they did recently for me. They are the best. Harris Plumbing NG, Burley, Idaho, at 431-8633. You give him a call today. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning again, sir.
Yes, sir.
Did you catch Judge Janine this weekend?
No, I did not.
Well, she had Jason Chaffetz on, and she was talking about the Sessions. He's on the DOJ.
Yep.
Anyway, she was talking to Chaffetz about him bringing charges against Holder or Hillary and some others in the Democratic Party for what they've done. Mm-hmm. And Sessions apparently told Chaffetz that no, he was not going to do that.
It makes a person wonder why. I mean, that's my obvious question. And Wheels, we got a little feedback on the line this morning. Ride the game. It makes a person wonder, like myself, why is there timidity on the part of this administration to go after Hillary for the emails, to go after others that have committed acts that are not honest, and possibly even treason against the United States?
Well, and obstruction of justice.
Yep.
And destroying government property. I mean, they've committed so many crimes. Comey admitted to leaking, which is illegal, and they still haven't brought him up on charges.
Yeah.
I mean, and this swamp's pretty deep, and unfortunately, the way Jason Chaffetz was talking, he says he thinks that Sessions is part of the swamp.
You know, I thought at first, and I did a little research on Jeff Sessions and prior to his appointment, and I remember the day that he was appointed, I made some comments about him on my radio program. I thought he was a straight-up good shooter for the right, and now I'm wondering if his timidity and his, let's just say, not wanting to pursue various issues like a good bloodhound should as AG, I'm starting to have wonders about what kind of holes are in his screen door that he's afraid of.
Exactly. Or who does he owe a bunch of favors to?
Or who is he looking over his shoulder at?
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So, anyway, I just wonder if you heard that, and I thought I'd bring it up. hope it didn't interrupt your topic.
No, because basically, you know something, Doug? Honestly, I am really, really concerned about what's going on in this country. Over the weekend, I followed a story that I don't know if you're familiar with or not, but it's by a professor at Pennsylvania State University, and her name is Angela Putman. And do you know what she's telling all of her students at this school? She's telling them that the idea of working hard to achieve a goal is just nothing more than a byproduct of white ideology, and to not do it because it's just following along in the gutter of the whites.
Oh, so, boy, that's got so many holes in it, like, well, for one, Dr. Ben Carson.
Yeah.
You know, and there's many other, that Kevin, I can't think of his last name. He's on Fox News, a very intelligent man.
Disregard the name. Let's just go forward.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing that people can either believe that or spew that such lies out of their mouth to try to influence other people.
Listen to what she said. She believes, this is a college professor that is teaching our young people, she believes that it is somehow a bad thing to teach students personal responsibility. It's bad because you're kind of kowtowing to the whites. And then she said, until students learn the hidden dangers of believing in the value of hard work and positive attitude, whiteness ideologies may be reproduced through a general acceptance and unchallenging of norms, as well as through everyday discourse from a wide variety of racial positionalities.
That lady needs to see a doctor.
But you know what? Kids are listening. Kids are listening to this, and I'll tell you why they're listening, because the millennial generation, not all of them, but many of them are looking for an easy cop-out, not to do anything and have everything handed to them.
That's exactly true. And I seen the other day, there's a statement that says, when people will not stand for the anthem or the American flag, will they stand for a country when it comes under fire?
Absolutely. You know, I made this comment a few minutes ago, and I know I'm going to take some heat by some of the so-called cowardly liberals that live in this area. They won't call into the program, but they'll backsnipe me after it's over. But, you know, I'm serious. I am going to call some of my friends at work. And, again, Wheels, cut the feed, the background feed, please, just a little bit. I know many of the people that work in the Green Bay office, and I've already mentioned my contention about any of the Packers that kneeled. And I think we, the American public, ought to come down on the NFL like a cat to a plate of milk. I mean, we really have to let them know how vile, evil, and sinister this is. And especially after what happened last night in Las Vegas with the police and the quick response people literally shielding the wounded with their bodies until they could be helped out of that area. Don't anybody in the NFL tonight on Monday Night Football, you kneel. I hope you're fired. I hope you're banished from the NFL. I hope you have to go play soccer over in Transylvania.
Well, I think they're starting to feel the pain, though. There's advertisers, the CEO was on the news, and he said he's pulling out of any NFL advertising. I heard that Budweiser is. I have an 800 number for Budweiser, but I don't have it handy to give it to you to call and voice your concern about the NFL. And I'll get that number and get it back to you.
You know, do that. I'm going to call everybody after I get off the air today, and I'm just going to let them know, especially my friends. I have friends that work for the Packers and also the Vikings and also for the Dallas Cowboys. And I'm going to call, and I'm just going to start my own little campaign of one talk show host that this is it. That's enough. You get these clowns, which they are, to stand for the national anthem. And I'll tell you something else. I don't also go along with this arm linking. The national anthem, I believe in our hand over our heart and show the absolute realm of respect when that anthem is played. I don't want all this linking of arms and the giggles and the smiles. Stand with respect or get out of Dodge City. I have no more time for these punks.
Me either. Here's the number if you want to write it down.
All right,
Ready?
good. Yeah.
1-800-342-5283.
I appreciate that. I'm going to call them, and I'm also going to call the Coors plant back in Golden, Colorado, and let them know our complete disdain on this. Thank you, Doug. You're a valued listener. I appreciate it.
God bless.
Thank you. Weather forecast. Tonight is really the end of the trail for the NFL and these absolute leeches on the rest of us that have been fans of NFL football. Not one single player had better take a knee tonight after the horrendous happenings that took place in Las Vegas last night. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. My goodness, with the lovely Dr. Christine Pickup. Oh, she knows all about sound. She knows all about hearing. And she knows all about how to help your problems, solve your problems if you've noticed a diminishment in hearing. She's right across from the Minidoka Hospital emergency room, and the number to call for an appointment, 312-0957. That number again, 312-0957. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Right now, time for the weather.
Here's your weather forecast as we saddle up and ride again for this weekend. Today we are looking at mostly cloudy skies, looking at a 20% chance of rain showers, high near 51. Going to be a little bit on the breezy side, winds out of the west-southwest, right around 11 miles an hour. Tonight, partly cloudy skies with a low right near 30. Then for tomorrow, mostly sunny skies, high of 53. Mostly sunny and 57 for Wednesday, looking at a high of 61 for Thursday. That's your weather for Zebeth Ranch.
Thank you, Gina. Brought to you by Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Number to call, make an appointment for a hearing screening today at 312-0957. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Good morning, caller. Thank you.
Good morning. She's wonderful, by the way, Dr. Pickup. This is just, it won't end. It's not who's not going to kneel tonight. It's how many will, because they will. I have better things to do, I guess, on Sunday and Monday. I used to really like to watch football with my husband, but we reloaded shells all day yesterday, and it was great. So I don't have to do that anymore, I suppose.
You know, let me ask you, though, as a former fan of watching and the absolute despicable attitude, and let's call it like it is, ma'am, and I think you'll agree with me, it was started by a disgruntled young man, Colin Kaepernick, in his absolute disdain for the police, calling them pigs and everything else, and it's enveloped now to what it is. Oh, well, we're oppressed as a race. Give me a break. How in the world can you relate the word oppression to somebody that's making $106 million a year playing football?
Oh, indeed. Indeed. It is just despicable. But, you know, I have mentioned this when I've called in before on your show. There's a scripture in Thessalonians that says, when they have left their first love, they will be given a delusion to believe a lie. And these people do. Our young people do believe a lie because they don't even know. They don't even know. And they don't care to know. And their parents, evidently, I don't know. I just don't get it with the parents of these kids that just think that everything is intended to be handed to them. It's theirs, you know?
Yeah, you're spot on.
I raised 3 kids, and they sure don't feel like that.
Yeah, but my point this morning, I think, is after I saw the news at 3:45, just literally a few hours after this had happened in Las Vegas, and I heard from not only the newscasters, but also some of the concert goers that were there, and one girl in particular with tears streaming down her face, she said, I just absolutely couldn't believe that a policeman walked over and used his body as a shield for one of the people that she was with at the concert, so that if the bullets kept on flying in that direction, he would be hit first instead of her friend. And then I thought right then and there, how dare these absolute fools in the NFL, these punk fools, take a knee and dishonor our police and others in this great country?
Well, probably 90.9% of the people that go into the academy to become a police officer would indeed throw themselves over somebody else's body, whether they wore a shield or not.
Yeah.
And that's why they enrolled in that program to begin with. That's why they chose that way of life. And I think it's amazing to think that people are surprised at it. Why not be surprised if it didn't happen?
Amen.
How skewed is that concept?
Amen. You know, God bless you for your call. I always enjoy your calls and your message. Thank you so much.
Take care.
God bless.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. It's me again.
Yes.
Yeah, I gotta say there is one instance where it's appropriate to take a knee, and that's when you kneel in prayer to Almighty God. And I think we ought to do that and pray that this mess gets straightened out.
Amen. Rodney, thank you again, and have a happy birthday today. Thank you.
You too.
All
And
right.
I'll be praying for all these people to get it on, get it right.
You know, thank you very much, Rodney. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you very, very much. You know, here's over 22,000 people standing at a music concert. Jason Aldean was wrapping things up. He was, I think, the final set of the evening. And all of a sudden, the gunfire erupted, and it was just, I saw the tapes, listened to the tapes, and it's just absolutely horrendous. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Happy birthday, Zeb.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
I live southeast of Burley, and it is snowing.
Well, I just want to say that I live south of Murtaugh, and would you please keep the snow over there?
Well, over here at Doug's place.
Oh.
Another thing, too, Zeb, I want you to remember, you're not getting older. Your kids are.
Okay.
You have a good day, and happy birthday again.
God bless you. Thank you. That was very kind. Thank you. Thank you very much. Last night, if you'll allow me just a few moments, last night we had some dear friends. Kent and Kathy Benson stopped in, and God bless them. They're just super long-time friends. And then Nick and Toby and Jacob and Jackson and Dawson, and we all had a cake that Deanne made that was absolutely out of this world delicious. And it was just such a nice pre-night before my birthday, and God bless everybody. Thank you. Caller, I'll be right there. Don't forget on Thursday's Denny's football trivia contest. You can win a Grand Slam breakfast at Denny's Restaurant, 611 North Overland in Burley. Thomas and Terry, everybody, great, great food, great breakfast. Don't forget to be listening on Thursday for the Denny's football trivia. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb.
Yes, sir.
What a time to have a birthday, right?
No, it's not an appropriate time, but I can't handle what goes on nationally or worldwide. Go ahead, Keith.
Right. I have a nephew that lives here in Burley that went to Las Vegas, and this was his second night there, and he heard it firsthand. It's my understanding, and I've been there quite a few times, this event took place at the Thomas and Mack Center?
No.
Is that correct?
No, that is not correct whatsoever. It was out on the street right by the Mandalay Bay. I know the area. It was not at the Thomas and Mack. It was not in the Thomas and Mack whatsoever. It was called the 91 Harvest Concert, and I can't pinpoint right here on the map to tell you over the air where it was, but it was just literally downstairs from the Mandalay Bay.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I don't know if there's... they said there's 22,000 people there.
Standing outside in a roped-off area.
I see.
Yeah.
It was right on the Las Vegas Boulevard then?
It was right out on the street in a great big area that is property adjacent to the Mandalay Bay. I'm not going to go into the specifics of where or what. I'm just going to say that it was one of the most horrendous and the most devastating shooting ever to occur in the United States.
and coming to this NFL thing, Las Vegas has been trying for some time to get an NFL franchise, and I wonder what this is going to do to that.
Well, I'm not going to get into that type of thing this morning because really I don't care right now. My thoughts are that tonight is going to be, I think, a kind of a revelation, if you will, to show whether these athletes have any class left in them at all. Keith, I got to do a commercial and run to the news. Thank you, my dear friend.
And you have a happy birthday.
I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you very much. Don't forget the big fall tire sale going on at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations. Doing the right thing matters, and they do every day. With the best in tires, they've got all the tires, all the sizes for you and all the various vehicles. The best of front-end alignment, shocks and struts, batteries. They said it's snowing outside. That means the temperature's going bloop down the drain. You better make sure you've got a good battery to turn that engine over. They really excel in serving you at all 7 locations. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and my buddy Randy on Overland in Burley. The best, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Do me a favor in the next couple of minutes. Take a knee, bow your head, and pray for this country. I'll be back in 7 minutes. I was just saying goodbye to some dear, dear friends. George and Donna Mass were here, brought me a gift and a delicious German chocolate cake. Oh, George and Donna, if you're listening this morning, thank you so much. Zeb at the Ranch brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you with a big fall tire sale. And, of course, some of our great advertisers like Western Way Services.
From the canyons of the Snake River and all across southern Idaho,
Western Waste Services. I'm telling you what, from your pickup on your route service to where you can get your garbage hauled away, wave goodbye to it, or maybe getting a dumpster and cleaning out your basement or your garage, or in my case, my office. I mean, the service is phenomenal. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, Western Waste Services, always at your disposal. Call them at 734-6969. I hear you, little buddy. What do you want?
I was just going to let you know I have Frosty lined up for you, but would you take a call from Gary real quick?
I will right after this commercial break, and I'll be right with him. Stand by. Okay. Tell both of them I'll be hurrying. I want to remind everybody, too, about Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert. The number to call, 436-5636. Joel Heward, his family, and his staff, always there to serve you and your family. When there's the passing of a loved one, everything, it just absolutely comes to a screeching halt. You don't know what to do. You don't know what needs to be done in a short time frame. They can and they will help. Always with the highest ethical standards, with unquestioned integrity. Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert. The number to call, 436-5636. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, Zeb. This is J.R. Chuck.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I just want to call and say happy birthday, and I told you that George Bass is a troublemaker.
Thank you very much for your kindness this morning. God bless you. I appreciate it.
No problem. You have a wonderful day. I was going to come down with him, but some fool called me and wanted me to go to work, so I guess I better do that and earn some money, huh?
Well, listen, man, I appreciate your kind thoughts, and anytime you want to come on the air, you just come on over.
Sound like a plan, Zeb.
All right, buddy.
Have a wonderful day, okay?
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
You betcha.
Right now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk to one of my dearest friends back in Golden, Colorado, and that is Frosty Woldridge. Good morning, Frost. How are you?
Well, I'm doing very well, and I really would like to send my condolences to everyone in Las Vegas that was affected by the latest terror attack, if you will, or I don't know what you call it. A deranged man or deranged mind, an unhappy person, and all that goes with that. And so I just, my heart is out to everyone who is facing that tragedy and all the ones who were killed and also the ones that were injured. Just heart-stopping what goes on, whether it's the Sandy Hook or whether it's Fort Lauderdale or Orlando or 9/11. It goes beyond my pay grade to understand how individuals of whatever orientation can do what they do, and it's great sadness. And anyway, Sandy and I and all of our family wish all those in Las Vegas and all those affected by this latest event the best, and God bless each one of them.
Well, let's talk a little bit about it, because there are many instances here, Frosty, to which I can relate to. I have emceed a lot of concerts in Las Vegas, and I know exactly the surroundings and the being down on the street and basically the belly of all those high-rises around you and everything, and it gives you a very squeamish feeling knowing now of what happened in Las Vegas, and my thoughts and prayers go out to everyone. But this is the point that I wanted to make with you this morning, because I think you and I are playing the same piano on this song. When I heard and talked to many of the news people earlier this morning before going on the air, that a lot of the first responders and the policemen that were there, they actually shielded with their own bodies other people that were at the concert to save them from possibly getting shot. The reason I'm mentioning this again this morning is I dare, and I mean this, I dare any one of these sick, pathetic fools in the NFL to take a knee and absolutely denigrate and downplay our police and our society after what they did last night. The NFL had better shape up in a short time and stop this foolishness and this insanity with these black players that feel they're oppressed.
Well, I certainly am playing the same piano with the same sheet music as you on that one, because, we all know that Colin Kaepernick has socks that have denigration of police as pigs. And also I've learned more about Colin Kaepernick. His girlfriend is an Islamic radical herself, and she has really pushed him into all of this kind of behavior even faster and or more effectively than anybody else, because a fool in love is a fool, and this guy obviously has created an incredibly foolish mark on what's going on in this country, and it is a tragedy beyond understanding, because the men and women in blue, they are that fine line that keeps our society moving positively forward. And I'm always astounded, because when you look at the numbers of bad apple police, they're like 0.000001 throughout our society, and 0.9999999 of our police, men and women in blue, are saving our lives, are making sure that we have a civil society, and that are giving their lives way beyond any of the appreciations of somebody like a Colin Kaepernick and all of those fools that are following him and not really knowing what they're doing. And as we talked about last week with the column that I wrote, that he is a spoiled brat. Every one of those NFL players, again, should get down on both knees and thank God they live in America, where they have the ability to have a free life, have a life of choice, and have the freedoms that are extended to so few in the world, and especially in places like Africa, Africa is not a place where anybody would like to have a life if they. You don't see anyone immigrating to Africa. I don't think there's one single person throughout the world that immigrates to Africa. There's a reason for that. And so people like Colin Kaepernick and every one of those spoiled brat NFL African Americans ought to get a clue. Visit Chicago. Do something with your money. Again, the average African American on a football team in the pros right now makes $1.9 million a year. In my whole lifetime, I haven't made $1 million, for heaven's sakes, and I've worked my whole life since I was 11, starting as a paper boy. And still here at 70, I'm still working. And it's absurd that these little spoiled brats are getting away with this. And Goodell should actually just implement the NFL rules. You're to stand, to put your hand over your heart, not talk, and pray, have reverence to the flag as the anthem is being sung. Anyway, we've got to stop being cowardly ourselves and start making these people stand up and respect the flag and respect our country, their country too. And that to me is the only way this thing should end, is respect for God, country, and family.
You know, I listened the other day, and Wheels, cut the feedback down a little bit if you would, please. I listened the other day to Goodell, and I listened to other of the so-called sports commentators on ESPN and NBC. And to be honest with you, I'd like to put them all in a gunny sack and just shake them up, and no matter which one falls out, they're all going to act the same, stupid. They were saying about, oh, well, these NFL players, you know, they've had hard stories of life and trials and turbulence in their life. And I thought, wait a minute, so have I. I've overcome the trials and the turbulences in my life. I've overcome mine, and I've tried to make myself a responsible, tax-paying adult in America, and I'm proud of this country. You've got a story, Frosty Woldridge. Your wife has got a story. Everybody's got a story. Why in the world do we just cater to some so that they can denounce and disrespect the flag? I don't buy it.
Well, and I don't buy it either. We all have a story. Every one of us listening and every person across America has seen tragedy, has seen prejudice, has seen bias, has been cheated, has been betrayed, has been lied to, has been hurt, has been hit, has faced all sorts of tragedies. And that is not going to go away. That's the human situation. And for these NFL players to think that theirs is a special, marquee tragedy in life, when they are literally living at the top of the flagpole of life here in the United States, with freedom, with choice, with financial abundance, with anything that they want, just to play a game and just to entertain people. In the end, none of their work means anything. Give me the mechanic who changes the tires. Give me the nurse who saves somebody's life in the ICU. Give me the truck driver who brings the goods to the stores so that you can eat every day. Those are the heroes for me. The plumber that fixed my plumbing. I can't fix the plumbing, but a plumber can, or electrician, and it goes right on down the line. We've all got a story. We've all got what we have, and we're the ones that are participating in making America work. These people playing NFL football, they're just entertainers. Same thing with Madonna and Ashley Judd, and even Robert De Niro. Is it Robert De Niro? No, I forget which character it is that's going against, our president and so forth. I think it's De Niro, and he's making all these nasty comments. These are entertainers. They really haven't added to the workings of America. They simply entertain. You and I are the workers. I produce. I have, as a truck driver, as a teacher, as a lifeguard, as a heavy equipment operator, as a paper boy. I have in my lifetime, as a cardiac cath med tech, I have helped make America, and I've contributed throughout my life to make this society work, and I'm always proud of America, even with all of its warts and so forth. It's still our country. It's still our responsibility, and it's the same thing with these players. They need to get a clue, and they need to go out and do something rather than just sit there with their knees and make fools of themselves.
Well, I'm telling you this much right now, and I'm going to ask for your support, and I mean this when I say this. I am going to watch the opening ceremony tonight on Monday Night Football. And from this juncture on, one player takes a knee, and I'm going to call the Green Bay Packers. I'm going to be calling other teams that I know that I have friends that work in their organizations, the Dallas Cowboys, etc. And I'm going to do all I can to spread as much animosity to the NFL and these players, these so-called oppressed players that are making $1.9 million a year, driving Porsches and BMWs, and they're so oppressed, and the police are bullies, etc. I'm going to do all I can to shut them down, because right now my hatred this morning is I'm going to use that word hatred against these people is absolutely at its biggest scale, because I listened this morning to the people in Vegas that said many of the police use their bodies as shields to help those on the ground, so if there were more bullets coming, the police would get head first. I absolutely will not stand for these slovenly fools that call themselves football players.
Totally in agreement with you, shoulder to shoulder. And again, I think at this point, I think is it Veterans Day? There is, I think it's one of the big organizers on Facebook is calling for a complete boycotting of NFL games on a particular Sunday. I think it's either in October or November. I'm not sure. Is it maybe November the 21st? Is that Veterans Day? I'm not sure, because there's so many dates and so many things going on. But I can guarantee you, the American people need to stand up. And if we get the solidarity of a day that we boycott all of the NFL games, then all of those little fools, all of those little unhappy, unfairly treated little millionaires who play a game, they need to have empty stadiums and nobody watching TV. I'll guarantee you that would really change the course of what's going on and start making these coaches stand up on their hind legs and put these. I'd fire every one of these players that puts a knee down. I'd throw them in the locker room. I'd get rid of them. I'd do whatever. And you always have somebody else that will take their place. There's always somebody else to take their place. I don't care how big a star they are. They're not needed in America if they're not going to be loyal to America, their country, our flag, and our anthem.
Well, just think about it, though, Frosty. Here are these, and I'm gonna sound racist on this, but the dumb liberals in our society, all across the United States, will always pick apart the sentences and only take fragmentization about what I say. I'm gonna just say this: these players should be down on their both knees, thanking God that their ancestors, whether they came here willfully or not, got here to America so that they can have all the opportunities that are afforded to them. I am sick and tired of the crybabies. I'm sick and tired of the woe is me. I'm sick and tired of the gimme attitude, especially again after watching and witnessing police give up their health and their lives to protect others. I won't take any more denigration from these spoiled brats.
Well, and again, to compliment on that is the fact that this has been shown by a study of the United Nations, 100 million people would come to America if given a visa and a ticket and a free pass to America next week. 100 million people worldwide would move to America if they were given the chance tomorrow. That's a fact. They wouldn't go to China. They certainly wouldn't go to India. They wouldn't go to Bangladesh. They wouldn't go to they wouldn't go to the Congo. They wouldn't go to Sudan. They wouldn't go to Ethiopia. They wouldn't go to Morocco. They would come to America. That's how extraordinary the American experience is and appreciated around the world. So to all these NFL little snot-nosed brats like Colin Kaepernick, you don't like it? Move to the Congo.
Yeah.
Move to Sudan. Move to Bangladesh. Move to India. And let's see how far you get as you're down on your knees protesting your unfair treatment there in Bangladesh, where most people live and starve to death day to day and can't even get a clean glass of drinking water.
Absolutely.
Because of what I've seen in my world travels, I can tell you this: we are the most fortunate people, and so in Canada, and so in Europe, and so in places like New Zealand and Australia, because we've built positive societies. And we are attempting to give everyone the very best of their lives. And for these people to sit there and denigrate our flag and our country and our anthem, I have no sympathy. Personally, I think they ought to all be tossed off those teams and let those who care about America stand up for America, cross their heart with their hand, and even sing the national anthem. They're the ones that I want to see playing for America and for their teams and for their fans.
But, you know, the repercussions and the other happenings since Kaepernick started this slovenly attitude has been, you've seen it, it's going like a groundswell right now where we see little 8th graders. They don't know Khmer from Sikkim. And they're kneeling at a 3rd grade football game. We've seen high school bands take a knee. All of this, these kids don't understand. They don't know the value of America, but it's the in thing to do, thanks to these millionaire crybabies that absolutely say they're oppressed. I'm fed up with it.
Well, I am, and we really need some leadership out of Goodall, the commissioner. That guy, right now, I would call a horse's ass right to his face, because he has allowed this thing to go on. He should have put an edict out, say all players will stand, or if they're not going to stand, they're back in the locker room, and they can sit on the locker room as they wish. But we're going to have American citizens playing American football stand for the flag, because that is the way our country operates. That's how we've succeeded as a constitutional republic, and I sure as heck would have literally commissioned every coach to do the same, or I would have literally started enforcing the rules that are on the books that you must stand for the flag, you must put your hand on your heart, and you must be quiet, and you must pay attention to the anthem. That's what I would do. But again, Goodall, who makes $44 million a year, that's right, $44 million a year as a salary, is a horse's ass without any kind of leadership. He's just placating, and he's backpedaling, and he's a coward. And I'll say that to his face if I could get up close enough to that guy.
I think that you're not being fair to the horses.
Thank you very much.
I hate to end this because, man, I'd like to go on further. I wanted to talk to you, and if you'll kind of file this away in your memory bank, I wanted to talk to you about a professor that is telling all of his students at Pennsylvania State University that hard work is a product of white ideology, and no one should put forth an effort to be self-responsible. I got to talk to you about this next week, so do a little research, and we'll talk about it on the next program, please.
Okay, I've got 30 seconds here to wish you a happy birthday from Sandy and me. And so happy birthday, Zeb. As you speed through your amazing life, enjoy the magnificent energies of creative thought, solid action, and personal outcome. May your birthday inspire you, encourage you, and transform you. Now you evolve into your future self. You bring wisdom, knowledge, experience, and enlightenment into this year and beyond. May your journey be fruitful, loving, and meaningful. Thank you for making a positive impact on the world. The power you wield will open the floodgates of living. Everything will tremble. The elements will conspire. People will be attracted to you. Insights summoned and comprehension soars, and clarity will be born in your mind. Not to mention that fierce and wild animals will bow down as you pass by. Happy birthday, Sandy and Frost.
You know something? You always have been a dear friend of mine. God bless you. Thanks, Frost. Talk to you next week. Thank you so much.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, my dear friend. I really enjoy him and his lovely wife, Sandy. They are just super, super nice people. Don't forget Ramsey Heating and Electric, as I almost knocked the microphone over. Ramsey Heating and Electric, along with Lennox, with the indoor comfort systems. And you might qualify to get up to a $1,600 rebate on a new Lennox system. All you have to do is call Ramsey Heating and Electric today at 678-0459. Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox, saving you money. By the way, too, our thanks go out to our dear, dear friends at Ark Animal Hospital. Oh, my goodness sakes, Dr. Bill and the whole crew at 750 21st Street, right near Connection Credit Union, over in Heyburn. And the number to write down and remember and call, 678-1177. You know, they are a mixed animal practice. Whether you got a little bitty kitty cat or a great big roping steer that needs help and attention, they can and they will help. A mixed animal practice, meaning big or small, they love them and can take care of them all. At Ark Animal Hospital in Heyburn, that number again, 678-1177. They do have warm hearts for cold noses. Anybody's nose is cold out there this morning. Holy mackerel. Hey, by the way, Cameron and Siemens Insurance, hello to them. Life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, and employee benefits. And they are very dedicated and responsive to your needs. All you have to do, and you've got to take the initiative to kind of start the ball rolling down the alley, call them at 436-4424. That number again, 436-4424. Make an appointment and make sure you, your family, and your business are covered. Absolutely. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Absolutely the best. Also, over in that area, and I'll bet you they are grinning like Cheshire cats out there this morning, or a little kid with his hand stuck in the cookie jar. Let's ride. Oh, my goodness, 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World, and they've got all the brand new 2017 snowmobiles coming in, and it's snowing over by them right now this morning. Holy mackerel, they're just grinning. They love it. I tell you what, they've also got all the four-wheelers. They've got all the side-by-sides. They've got all the accessories, and they have a super service department to keep you running. Let's ride 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the entire world. It is where the fun is sold. You stop over, see them today. Right now, I'm going to go to the telephone, and I'm very, very fortunate to have, I think I've had this gentleman on the program before. If not, I'm going to welcome him for the first time. He is a author of a book called Saving a Sick America, a prescription for moral and cultural transformation. Oh, do we need that now more than ever? And we say good morning to Dr. Michael Brown. Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well. Obviously shocked by the news of the shootings last night, but I'm doing well, sir.
You know, I'm so glad you kind of moved into that story, because I watched since about 3:45 this morning. I have many, many friends there in that area. I've stayed there at the Mandalay Bay when I've been down announcing the National Finals Rodeo in the past. I know the area, everything. It just sickens me to think that something like this would happen in America, where over 50 people have died and possibly as many as 400 have been injured. Tell me America isn't sick. I've never been more concerned as I am this morning.
Yeah, you know, sir, my book that just came out, it's called Saving a Sick America. And during the hurricanes, people were saying, well, what's causing the hurricanes? Is it global warming? Is it man-made? And you had Christians saying, no, this is judgment from God. And what I was hearing in the midst of it is, we're in pain. We're sick. We need God. We're hurting. And now there could be debate about gun control. Certainly that's coming. And who can imagine? I mean, this much devastation in this short period of time, more lives destroyed now in terms of death and injury through this shooting, which took, 2 minutes, then through all the hurricanes, and there's going to be the debate about gun control. But I don't think that's where the focus should be. Fine, have the debate, and have the debate about global warming. But look, one day we're being torn apart by hurricanes, the next day by racial tension and division, the next day by mass shooting. We need help, and we don't have a simple political solution. There's no moral, social Band-Aid that we can put over this. We're a hurting people, and there's only one that can heal us, and that starts with each of us getting on our faces before God and say, okay, here's where I know I'm blowing it. Here's what I know is wrong in my own life. Have mercy on our nation, God, because we are a nation without God, and it's looking more and more like we're a nation without God.
Dr. Brown, may I call you Michael?
please.
Okay. Michael, you and I are on the same page. We're on the same lane of traffic, if you will, this morning. And I put a little bit of the blame, or maybe even a lot more than a little, on the pastors and church leaders themselves, because I don't think they're being forceful enough from the pulpit to really get people directed that as Christians we have to stand up and stop turning the other cheek and go on the offense. Maybe you don't agree with that. That's the way I feel.
I have a chapter in Saving a Sick America entitled Restoring Thunder to Our Pulpits. And I quote there from Charles Finney in 1873. In short, he says, if America is messed up, it's largely the fault of the pulpits. Listen, I'm not looking for us to go take up arms against enemies. And if that's what fight back means, no, that's not what I'm looking to do. I mean, in terms of right within America, that we go just shooting each other. What I am saying for sure is that our pastors, our leaders, and I'm in ministry, that we've been too passive. We've been afraid to confront issues. We're afraid if we speak the truth on controversial issues, we'll lose our people, we'll lose their money, we'll lose influence. We have been compromised, and I absolutely agree with you. Look, pastors have said in surveys they believe the Bible has the answer to every moral, social, cultural problem. When asked, do they use the Bible to address those issues, 90% said no. Why? Because they're afraid of the consequences. And ironically, 90% of the people in their churches want them to address these things. Kids are coming home from first grade and getting sent to the principal's office because they misgendered another child, because they call the boy a boy when the boy wants to be called a girl. You know, I mean, that's just the confusion in our schools. We're not going to address this. We're not going to address our culture of death and over 55 million abortions since Roe v. Wade. We're just going to dance our way around same-sex marriage and on and on. We're not going to speak up and speak out. So no question, passivity and compromise from our pulpits has helped us get where we are. We preach a Jesus who's like this genie out of a bottle, who's just here to give us a big, happy life, and we never address the real life and death issues. And because of that, we have just brought God down to our level. He's here to serve us instead of us being here to serve him.
You know, what you said a few moments ago, I wanted you to elaborate on just a little bit, Michael, when you said the consequences. And basically what I'm seeing and hearing from church leaders and pastors, etc., is that they're more afraid of mankind and the image that they portray than they really are of God himself and the biblical word. And that tells me that not only are they cowards, but really they don't belong in the pulpit in the first place.
Yeah, I just wrote an article to pastors and leaders saying, are you shepherds or are you hirelings? Are you doing what's expedient, or are you doing what's right? Are you doing what's going to keep the popularity and bring in the money? Are you going to honor God? You hit the nail on the head. Jesus said to us, don't fear those who kill the body but can't kill the soul. Fear him who can kill soul and body in hell. And look, I don't think that every sermon is supposed to be political. I don't think that every sermon is supposed to, say, deal with abortion or the sexual revolution. But we've got to be relevant to what's really happening. Judas betrayed Jesus for money. And I'm afraid some of my colleagues behind the pulpit have done the same thing. We cloak it in wisdom. We cloak it in, we don't want to offend people and hurt people. And I believe the most hurting person, the most confused person, should be able to walk into any of our churches and find help. I don't care what they look like, what they sound like. They should be able to come in and say, I need help, and we should put an arm around them and say, we're here to help. But that doesn't mean that we're silent on the divisive and destructive social issues. And our kids and our grandkids have every right to say to us as they grow up, Mom, Dad, what were you doing? Grandma, Grandpa, what were you doing when they changed America, when they took away our religious rights, when they redefined marriage? What were you doing? They have every right to raise those questions.
You know, Michael, over the last 5 years, and over at the station, please, Wheels, watch that feedback. Over the last 5 years, we have witnessed, and I've had many, many stories on my program, the denigration and the degradation of Christianity and people like myself as a talk show host that are very proud to be an American, very proud to say that I'm a Christian. And we're seeing that more of a degrading system every day in our culture, but yet nobody speaks up and goes on the offense. Why? Why are we so weak-kneed?
Yeah, very, very few speak up, and it's because we've got this culture of retreat. It's because we're ashamed of the gospel. It's because we would rather keep quiet. Look, if I speak up, my friends on Facebook may unfriend me. I may get into trouble at work. Better to just kind of keep quiet and survive. That is the strategy for certain defeat. And again, this is not a political issue. This is an issue of righteousness. And we're being selfish, ultimately, when we don't speak up, because America, without God and without Christian roots, is a hell-bound America. And I mean that in every sense of the word. If we depart from the things that made us great, America can only be great if America is good. America can only be good with God. If we depart from that simple fundamental, then we're going to crash and burn as a nation. So for us not to speak up, for us not to speak out, is not only self-destructive, it's destructive for the nation around us. And in Saving a Sick America, I point back to Scripture. For every single issue in our nation, whatever the problem is, God's Word has a solution, and it's up to pastors, leaders to lead the way. It's up to moms and dads in the homes to lead the way. It's up to young people at college campuses to speak up and quit cowering in a corner.
Let me ask you, when you talk about the intricacies and the writings of your book, and you go through the various chapters, if you're delivering a speech someplace, what's the response? I mean, are you talking to special audiences that agree with you all the time? Are you talking to the younger generation? Do they have questions? Are there a lot of boos and hisses in the audience? I mean, what's the response to your book and what you're trying to tell America that we need to do?
Yeah, well, let me answer on three levels. As I have preached on this in churches, I've spoken to church with thousands this past Sunday and the same with the Sunday before, and I presented the last chapter of the book, The Church's Great Opportunity, that we could be on the edge of the greatest awakening in ever. This is one of the worst times in our history. If we'll turn to God earnestly, it's not too late. We're in critical condition, but it's not too late. Suddenly hope rises. Because I find a lot of Christians have this mentality of gloom and doom. Jesus is coming any minute. The world's going apart. Everything's falling apart. It's over. And they don't even have hope. They don't even try. So the idea that America could be healed, that we could have a great awakening, that the nation could be turned. I mean, I have lines of people wanting to thank me for putting hope back in them because they're not getting realistic hope. That's the first level of response. The second level of response is that on a larger level, because I'm a radio host as well and active on social media, I will get railed. I will get attacked on every level from those that love the things of this world as they are, from those that hate our moral code, from those who hate our notion of God. And you really see where the issue is. When Hugh Hefner died, and I have a whole chapter in my book, From Playboy to Purity, I said, when Hugh Hefner died, I said, my hope is that his death will somehow signify the end of the sexual revolution, that this will be a wake-up time in America. Man, I had people attacking me, and you prude, and you effing this and that. They were going crazy on me because I said it's not good for an 8-year-old to be able to download porn. It's not good for 10-year-olds to be sexting each other. It's not good for 15-year-old girls to have lifetime STDs. And some people are so hooked on these ways that they hate the light. So I'm seeing people full of hope now, Christians full of hope, saying, yes, now is the time to get involved. Now is the time to pray. Now is the time to call America back to God. And then I'm seeing others who they like things the way they are. As Jesus said, that the people of darkness love darkness. And now's the time we have to shine. Let the consequences fall where they fall. Let things happen as they happen. But we have no choice but to speak up and speak out.
You know, Michael, I've said this on my program many times, that I think some of the most comforting times in my life were reflected on the covers of the old Saturday Evening Post magazine. The families gathered around the turkey dinner at Thanksgiving, or huddled around the Christmas tree, or going to church hand in hand on a Sunday morning. And I really hope and pray that those values can be reestablished here in America.
You know, I start my book off with a picture of a man in the suburbs of Pennsylvania, early 1960s, and with his wife and 3 kids, and he falls asleep watching Leave It to Beaver, and he wakes up and it's today. So maybe we're going literally from Leave It to Beaver to Game of Thrones, from Lassie to Secret Diary of a Call Girl. we've gone from shows like Father Knows Best to Keeping Up with the Kardashians, and Robert Young of Father Knows Best never became Woman of the Year. We're in a totally topsy-turvy society, and I paint a picture of what life is like. And sure, we had problems in the 60s. We still had segregation. Women didn't have opportunities to do certain things. But you talk about being much more family-friendly and innocent. Is it possible that we could ever recover that only with God's help and only because everything else fails so miserably? The culture of death that comes out of abortion does not reproduce. The culture of the sexual revolution just burns itself out. The culture of radical gay activism overplays its hand. So my hope is that as America is imploding and exploding, that we'll realize that the thing that so many of us scorn and mock is the very thing that we need to cure our nation.
Let me ask you this. I want to talk about where the book can be obtained, etc. But I also want to, when people close the cover of the book after they've read the last page, what are the thoughts that you want them to take away from that book?
Number one, we're in critical condition, but it's not too late for our nation. Number two, change begins with me and my family, and that we can be catalysts of bringing about a moral and cultural revolution through the gospel. And folks can get the book at any bookstores. They can go on Amazon and get it in ebook or Audible or hardcover, and they can be in touch with our own ministry, the articles and videos we put out every week at Ask Dr. Brown, askdrbrown.org, and the book Saving a Sick America.
I'm going to go get a copy of this book, Saving a Sick America, A Prescription for Moral and Cultural Transformation, written by Dr. Michael Brown. I certainly hope, sir, that you'll consent to coming back in a couple of weeks after I read this book, and we'll have another good conversation. Thank you so much.
I would love to do it. Thank you so much.
All right, sir. Thank you. Dr. Michael Brown, the author of Saving a Sick America. And boy, oh boy, his book is very timely right now. America is sick. There are those in the audience that will poo-poo this and say, oh, it's not that bad, and it's just changing times, it's changing attitudes, and I'm going to go horse feathers. I am celebrating my birthday today. And I'm very proud of the people that I call friends. I'm extremely proud of my family. I'm extremely proud of my kids and their families. But they were raised to respect. They were raised to have values. And then I look around at what these people today say, oh, well, it's just changing values. No. They're sick and pathetic. We've got to get every day on the program, and I know I revert back to this. Every day when I wrap up the program, I say the way things were are the way things ought to be. And I've had some narrow-minded people call me and say, oh, you want to revert back to the past? Well, we've got so much, today. I didn't say that. I said the way things were, the way things ought to be in reference to the morals, family values, etc. Because I'll go toe-to-toe with anybody that can argue with me or attempt to argue with me that where we are today is a good thing. It's not. The way things were are the way things ought to be. And again, to the pastors in the audience, and I always hear from some of them, you're always criticizing us. Well, yes, sometimes I do. Because you have a captivated audience, probably right before they pass the collection plate. And I don't think many of you are doing the job behind the pulpit that you should be doing. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Want to remind everybody our weather forecast brought to you by Phillips Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. And they've been providing accounting services to the Mini-Cash area for well over 50 years. They are the best with tax return preparation, tax planning, business consulting, payroll services, retirement planning. I know that we've worked with these folks for the last couple of years, and they do a wonderful job. I urge you to get a hold of them today. 2 locations, Burley and Rupert, the best. Phillips Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. Right now, here's the weather.
Here's your weather forecast as we saddle up and ride again for this weekend. Today we are looking at Mostly cloudy skies, looking at a 20% chance of rain showers, high near 51. Going to be a little bit on the breezy side. Winds out of the west-southwest, right around 11 miles an hour. Tonight, partly cloudy skies with a low right near 30. Then for tomorrow, mostly sunny skies, high of 53. Mostly sunny and 57 for Wednesday, looking at a high of 61 for Thursday. That's your weather for Zebeth Ranch.
Thank you, Gina. She does a great job on that weather. Whoa, is it ever dark outside today? You know, I had plans after I got off the air today of going out and saddling the horse and working him out a little bit, and I don't know if I'm going to do that or not. Weather brought to you by Phillips Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. CPAs, as I said, they've been serving the Minicash area for well over 50 years. So get a hold of them today in Burley and Rupert the best. Phillips Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Hey, Zeb, happy birthday. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy to get a birthday.
Well, thank you.
Monday morning.
Well, thank you. You know, I'm very blessed to have friends like you and my dear family and everything, and I really do appreciate all the kindness, all the cards, all the gifts, and the well wishes. Thank you very much.
Well, Elaine and I'd like you to have a happy day. Give Deanna our love.
I will do that, sir, and you know that you're very near and dear to us, and thank you for all you do, Bert. Appreciate it. God bless you.
Okay, thanks, Zeb.
You bet. Thank you.
Appreciate your program today.
Thank you very, very much. We had a guest all lined up for 10:06 this morning. I got a call about maybe 10 minutes before the program, and this party said, well, we can't make it today. We got to go here, there, and everywhere. And it kind of left me in the lurch a little bit. Deanne, would you do me a favor? I am besieged in their last little bit this morning. The flies are coming in my office. See them all over here? Can you hand me a fly swatter, please? I'd appreciate that. And every now and then you might hear a thwap, and I'm going to go get these flies. I really would appreciate your calls right now. 436-2244. 1-866-927-4587. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Hello, Zeb.
Yes, sir.
Good morning and happy birthday.
Well, thank you. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Hey, I got a little article. The Valley Viking football team went to the Showband football team last Friday night. And during the ceremony for the Showband Indians, they had a ritual during the whole thing, and they invited the whole Valley Viking football team out to join them. And they went out and did that, and it was really a spectacular event.
Really?
I mean, it was just something you can remember.
What kind of a ceremony, if you will, was it?
It was the Indians, and they had their regular Showband dance. They call it the circle dance out in the middle of the field. The whole they invited, even the referees went out and got into it.
Really? Was it a show of unity and a show of kind of reaching across America with an open hand to shake hands with everyone? Was that the basic gist of it?
That would be the gist of it.
Well, I'll tell you what, I wished I could have seen something like that.
You can get a little of it on the video on the Valley Viking. They're taking pictures of it, but it was quite a ceremonial. It took quite a while, but they, like I said, everybody but the audience was involved, all the football players and everything.
You know, when you hear stories of this type of thing going on with our young people, it's so easy to denigrate young people. It's so easy to denigrate the millennials. It's so easy to denigrate the liberals. But when something like this happens and you see a reaching out and a shaking of hands from different cultures, it's really refreshing.
Yes, it was. And like I said, there was like all the Spanish boys from Valley and all the Indians and everybody, and they just thought the boys just thoroughly enjoyed it.
All right, sir. Well, you're very kind to call, and I wish you to have a good day. Stay warm. Don't have a bunch of snow fall on your hat, and have a good day.
Same to you, and many more happy birthdays.
God bless you. Thank you so much. That was very nice. Very nice. You know, I'll go back to what I said a little bit ago, and I mean this. I hope and I pray that the NFL's players wake up and understand the damage that they have done and are doing to our young people. Whether it's third graders in St. Louis at a football game taking a knee, whether it's a high school band, whatever. I don't care. This is enough. It's got to stop. After, again, what happened last night in Las Vegas with policemen running over and using their body as a human shield for people that had been wounded so that if another bullet came that way, the policeman would take the hit instead of the person. How dare? How dare these players denigrate our police, denigrate our military, denigrate our flag? When you hear stories of heroism, like what we heard last night in Las Vegas. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Hi, Zeb. I just wanted to call and first of all wish you a very happy birthday from all of us at AC Drive-In.
Well, thank you.
This is Phyllis.
Yes, ma'am.
And I just want you to know how much we appreciate all you do on your program to enlighten us, to teach us, to educate us. I love listening to your program every day when I can, which is most all the time, unless I'm out of town. But you do actually educate our area. It's hard to find someone that will bring in voices from throughout the nation to teach and educate us. And I so appreciate all that you do.
Well, thank you.
Happy birthday, dear.
Thank you so much. That's very kind of you to call. And all I can say is God's blessings right back at you. You're a very nice lady. Thank you so much.
Yes, and God blesses me every day because I'm still here.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Phyllis.
Bye-bye.
God bless. Thank you. What a nice lady right there. Thank you. And thank you to all the people with your kind remarks, your cards, everything. Thank you so much. Don't forget our friends at Autumn Haven Assisted Living Center at 924 Christian Way in Rupert. The number to call, and remember, 436-3200. Maybe you have a family member that needs just that little bit of extra care, the one-on-one care. Well, I urge you to give them a call and stop over for a visit of the facility and learn more about Autumn Haven Assisted Living Center. Again, at 924 Christian Way in Rupert. They've got a beautiful patio in the backyard, and they've got so many different community events they're involved in. They're small compared to some, but with a bigger heart than most. Autumn Haven Assisted Living Center, number to call, 436-3200. Thank you, all of you. I just feel like we're one big kind of a group, happy family on this program, and I appreciate all your calls and your thoughts. I want to thank one person this morning I have not thanked, and she's sitting less than 10 feet away from me. I got all tongue-tied. My wife, Deanne, means so much to me. And this business would not be a business had it not been for her help and assistance. And she absolutely has made my birthday so special. And she knew little things about people coming by with cakes and gifts this morning and never let on. You're kind of tricky over there, lady. Thank you, Deanne. God bless you, my lovely wife. We're going to head for the news. I'll be back in 6. Welcome back. Hour number 3, Zeb at the Ranch on a... I just said to Deanne, I said, what in the world? It is really gnarly outside, kind of cloudy and dull and ugly looking. And we've had reports, Donna Mask called back and said on the way back from my place over to their home, it was almost a whiteout with snow. My goodness sakes, drive careful out there. And just not real nice weather the last couple of days. Zeb at the Ranch brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, and also some of our great advertisers, including Western Way Services, always at your disposal. Call them, 734-6969. Want to remind everybody, let's see, what did I do with that sheet? Here it is. On Thursdays, don't forget we have a special segment on our program that's called Cache County School Days, and it's brought to you by two wonderful sponsors. First of all, A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley, with all the scrubs and all the baby clothing and the baby furniture, all the cribs, and they've got the top-rated #1 car seat from Chico. All of this and more at A Child's World in Burley, 1308 Overland. And Ambulatory Surgery Center, located at 1344 Highland Avenue, Suite E in Burley. For your outpatient surgeries, they can save you money. Absolutely life-saving colonoscopies, carpal tunnel surgery, etc. at Ambulatory Surgery Center in Burley. Number to call, 677-8888. I wanted to take a little time this morning, and I hope he's listening from his hospital bed down in Utah, and that's my dear, dear friend, Marty Mickelson. Marty had a ruptured appendix, and God's blessings that I think he's going to be all right. They put him in for surgery and everything. He and his son Hayden have done so much to help get everything off the ground for the Booting Harvey out of Texas charity campaign. They went down, I think it was about a week ago, and took feed and other staples of life, literally, for various horse operations, etc., hay, grain. And in a couple of weeks, they're going to be going down with all the boots and the tack that we're gathering up. Now, let me stop right there and say that I have absolutely been amazed and astounded as to the boots and the footwear that you've dropped off at the various drop-off points. Lane and Rupert, the Twist family over in Paul, and Randy on Overland and Burley, your Magic Valley, Les Schwab Tire Centers of the Mini-Cache area. And I still need more. Now, I am going to be finalizing all this in about another week at the end of this week to get everything put together, get all the boots shined up, and please, good quality footwear only. And most all the boots we've got have been absolutely amazing, and I say thank you. I know thank you sounds pretty shallow sometimes, but I'm just amazed. Deanna and I, it brought tears to our eyes. Some people even went out and bought brand new boots and donated them. I mean, brand spanking new boots. Thank you so much. And a lot of the horse tack, you know, the bridles and the blankets and the bits and other things that were lost in all the flooding. And we're all going to have this going down to Texas in a couple of weeks, I think around the 15th of October. And a young man by the name of Hayden Mickelson, Marty's son, was on the program with me the other day, and I just want to say thank you. I mean, you people are absolutely phenomenal, and thank you very much for all your support. Still need more footwear, more boots, ladies' boots, men's boots, or for that matter, any kind of footwear, because they've lost everything down there, and we appreciate it. And it's going to be going to the various FFA chapters in the rural areas. We've got some really strong connections down there, and they're going to help make sure that the equipment, the boots, etc., goes to the people that are really in need. So thank you for all your donations. We really appreciate it. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. And once again, I want to remind you that if you'd like to donate a pair of boots that's maybe sitting in your closet, maybe the old feet have kind of spread out a little bit and they don't fit so good, again, take them over to Lane and Rupert and the Twist family and Paul and Randy on Overland and Burley, your Magic Valley, Les Schwab Tire Centers for the Mini-Cache area. They've got drop-off boxes. Just go in there, and I and my wife will go in there and pick them up, okay? Thank you very much. Whew. Okay, give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. We were talking earlier this morning, and I think this is worthy of your comments, because I honestly think a professor at any college anywhere in the United States that is teaching and brainwashing our children that they should not put out any effort. They should not try to work hard and make something of themselves, make something of their career, because that shows that they're bending under the pressure of whiteness ideology. Whiteness ideology. I read the story that came across the service this morning that Deanne had pulled for me, and I'm absolutely just astounded that a professor would stand up in front of a class and denounce anybody that wants to go work hard and do something with their life. And she said that her resulting conclusion, published on Thursday, was that meritocracy, or the belief that people should rise based on the fruits of their own labor, is a white ideology. In Angela Putman's mind, the professor at Pennsylvania State University, this is white ideology. And she said she's going to do all she can to denounce it and put it down. And she said that professors can change this ideology by teaching students how racism and whiteness function in various contexts. The powerful influence of systems and institutions and the pervasiveness of whiteness ideologies within the United States. I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say here. I was raised that no matter what obstacles, no matter what problems, no matter what, God gave us all certain talents. And it was my responsibility to have self-responsibility, to use those talents that God has given me to be the most productive I can be in my society. To be a good father, to be a good husband, to pay my bills and my taxes, and be a responsible contributing member of our society. Now, on the left, we have these sick, that's what she is, sick liberals that absolutely are doing all they can to denounce you and me as bad people, because we have an ideology, a white ideology, where hard work might give you the things you want in life, and this is evil. And then I just happened to run across an article in the paper this morning that they had a person, and I'm going to watch what I say here because I've got a lot of different words I could use in talking about this. A lady that is an executive director of United Vision for Idaho that said in this article in the paper that they can combat hate speech used by groups that have spoken out against refugees and immigrants. And then they wanted to talk about beginner discussions on white privilege and what people's roles in society are. Well, number one, hold on, caller, I'll be right there. White privilege? White privilege. The privilege I had was to go to school, pay for it myself. The privilege I had was to graduate from that school, come west on my own merit and my own dime, take a chance and a risk, put roots down here in this area, and try to be successful. That's white privilege? No. I worked for every single thing I have. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Zeb, it's me again. You know, I've said this before and I'll say it again. We need a complete overhaul of our educational system, especially the people that are educating our kids. I mean, where does this white privilege stuff come from? I wish I had some of it.
I can't give you an answer on that because I don't understand this. I didn't have any white privilege. Nobody handed me a silver spoon. Nobody gave you a tray of silverware and said, here, the world's all supplied for you. I just don't understand why these liberal knotheads, and there's other words I'd like to use, can stand up in front of a classroom and the millennials are lapping this up like a cat to a plate of milk. It makes me sick.
Exactly. In fact, I know some millennials who are absolutely disgusted with their own generation because of this. I mean, where would we be without hard work? I mean, heck, I don't even know the answer to that. I mean, we'd be nothing. We have to work hard for what we get, because if we don't have it.
But the ideology is such that now if you work hard and try to achieve something, you're supporting Whitey, and we can't do that. Rodney, thank you, and again, have a great day. I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you.
Hey, you have a great day. Have a great birthday, Zach.
All right. Thank you, buddy. Thank you. According to this professor, and I use this term very loosely because I don't think this person should be standing up in front of a class anywhere. According to her theory, when she goes to grading her students, grading based on their merits and test scores would be a perpetuation of white ideological privilege. Would you mull that over just a little bit in your mind? Please, just kind of think about that. This teacher says, I'm not going to give test scores. I'm not going to look at their work and judge it as a teacher on their merits, because that would be a perpetuation of white ideological privilege. Have you noticed in the last couple of months in this country, the anti-white feeling, the anti-white this, anti-white this? Who is spreading all the segregation? Not me. Not me. I've got a lot of friends that are black, Mexican, whatever. But the liberal left. The liberal left. I just cannot imagine how a teacher, this Angela Putman, could stand up in front of a classroom and get away with saying, well, I'm sorry, but no, you don't have to work hard. You don't have to be a powerful influence. You don't have to try to succeed, because that would be furthering that nasty white ideology. How would you like it if your little Johnny or Susie came home from school today and said, well, I don't have to go to college. I don't have to get a job. No, I don't have to do any of that, because that's just going to be furthering that nasty white ideology that we have to work hard and try to be something. That ought to hit you right between the eyes. And don't think it isn't happening, because it is right now today. With teachers, and again I use that term loosely, that are promoting this kind of absolute filth. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Caller, good morning, you're on the air.
Yes, morning, Zeb. How did she get where she was at? Did she just kick back and was them grades handed to her, and then she just was standing in line and she got a job teaching college? Is that how she got it, or how did she do it?
I can't answer that question, because I just have this 4 or 5 page news release about her stupidity. I'm going to be looking more into her background, but you bring up a very good question. Evidently she wanted to be a teacher. Evidently she wanted to study to get her license and all of the merits that be a professor. And now she turns around and literally is condemning the hands, if you will, that fed her and put her into this position, and now it's a condemnation of Caucasians or white ideology. I don't know about you, but this sickens me.
Well, I'm just wondering if she's not doing child psychology here and telling the white people, you don't have to work, and then they can't get anywhere, and the black people, everybody else
will rise above them. So basically, she is telling them, don't do it, and then they'll be on welfare too. Am I mistaken on that? Or?
Well, yeah, I think the society that she acts like she's supporting is a society of those that just keep their hands out and a tin cup in their hand that they want to keep filled from government giving. And I'm sick about this white ideology. I'm proud of being a Caucasian. I don't care if there's Mexicans, blacks out in the audience. I hope they're proud of who they are. But, anytime you have a group of people in this country that start denouncing whites and, that George Washington and Jefferson were all bad people, this, that, and the other thing, and all whites are like they are, you've got a totally segregated society that's just begging for a civil war.
Well, I agree with that. Several years ago, I drive truck for a living, Zeb, and several years ago, I was in a truck stop, and a big black guy showed up, and he started telling me how hard he had to work to get the position he was in, and how nice a truck he drove. And it sounded just like me. I had to do the same thing. They didn't just give me a brand new Kenworth or Peterbilt.
Exactly.
I started driving the old stuff, and so they've been teaching these guys that for a long time, obviously. It's gone through several generations from what I can see.
Well, I appreciate your phone call, and you just drive safely out there. God bless you and have a great day. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Zeb.
Thank you. I'm really afraid that race in America is worse now than it was 50, 60 years ago. I really do. I think it's worse. And the race baiters and the race haters like this woman, Angela Putnam, Jesse Jackson, others, that absolutely thrive and open their billfolds and line those billfolds with $100 bills because they are race baiters and haters, is going to get a lot worse. There's something else in this country, too. And just think about this for a second. The conservative thought of we're going to go to church on Sunday, we're going to pay our bills, we're going to have a job, and we're going to make a career, and we're going to do the best we can with the talent that God gave us. That's an attitude I was raised with. But today it's looked down upon as white ideology. Oh, boy. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Zeb. There's something about this that bothers me. I think a lot of these people that are preaching all this subversive stuff, they are totally convinced that the enemies of America are going to take over, and they will have a shining spot in society if they do take over. Now, this might be off-the-wall thinking, but this is what comes to my mind when I hear about all this crap.
No, I think that it's called CYA without going through all the definitive alphabet words. But I think you're right in some extent that these people are taking the easy way out. A professor like this and lazy people in general are taking the lazy way out with nothing more than handouts in a society where they haven't got enough get up and go to supply for themselves. They're lazy, slovenly people.
Well, I think some of the blame belongs on the parents that know this stuff is going on, and they're not marching on to schools. There's millions of parents out there that would have a major impact on this garbage that's going on.
Oh, I agree. I point my finger like you just did at the parents and the people, the grandparents, even my generation, because they've been too lax to stand up and say one simple word. It's 2 letters. No. They haven't remembered how to say no to these spoiled, rotten punks that are trying to take over today with a gimme attitude.
Well, if we keep importing these people in here and they're coming in with all this gimme, this country's finished.
I agree. Tony, you and Mary, God bless you so much, and thank you for all your kind thoughts. I appreciate it. Thank you. All right, buddy. There's, no matter what you do on this program, no matter what I say, it's always scrutinized by those of the left. And the image that I get, now tell me if you think I'm wrong, is that of conservative thought, of religious thought, of concern about trying to do the best I can, again, with what talent God's given me. That's denounced. And if we speak out against, gay marriage, we speak out against transgenderism, we speak out against those that don't want to work, we're called bigots and we're called hate mongers. Think about it. I'm not exaggerating. I'm very concerned as to the status of America today. The bad people out there are increasing in numbers, and we've got to stop this movement. I want to remind you also about our friends at Autumn Haven Assisted Living Center at 924 Christian Way in Rupert. The number to call, 436-3200. They are the only locally owned and operated assisted living facility in the Mini-Cassia area, and they would love to talk to your loved one about coming over there and staying where they can provide more one-on-one care. And they make every effort to make sure that your folks, the folks can stop by and take a tour, find out more about the facility at Autumn Haven Assisted Living Center. They're small compared to some, but with a bigger heart than most. Please call them today and find out more. 436-3200. Autumn Haven Assisted Living Center, 924 Christian Way in Rupert. You give them a call today. Right after the news, at the bottom of the hour, our break, I should say, we're going to have Michael Doherty on the program. Michael is a computer expert, and he's going to be talking all about private email servers and private accounts, and it looks like some of the Trump administration following in the same mess that Hillary was in. So we're going to find out more about that. Don't forget to our friends with Ramsey Heating and Electric and, of course, Lennox Home Comfort Systems. You could possibly qualify for up to a $1,600 rebate. So be sure and check it out today at our dear friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox. Call them at 678-0459, waiting to serve you. Ramsey Heating and Electric. Right now, let's send it back over to our main studio. I'll be back in about 3 minutes.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
You know, I got to tell you, my birthday and so many people, and I wouldn't dare try to remember everything and all the gifts and the cards and everything because I'd forget somebody. But just in the last few minutes, a lady that's been so supportive of our program and so supportive of Deanne and I, Lorna Arbogast, just stopped by with a whole bunch of boxes and gifts like jellies and salsa and cookies. Oh, thank you so much. Very, very nice. I appreciate it. Right now, let's go to the phone line, and we have with us cybersecurity tech analyst. Boy, he's way above my pay grade. Michael Doherty, good morning. How are you?
Oh, go ahead, sir. I just put him through.
All right. Good morning, Michael Doherty.
Good morning. How are you?
I am great. You've got a book called The Devil Inside the Beltway, the shocking expose of the U.S. government's surveillance and overreach into cybersecurity, medicine, and small business. Woo! One of the longest book titles I've ever read. What does the book tell us?
It's written like a story of my battle with the Federal Trade Commission. I founded a medical laboratory. We diagnosed about 700,000 people in cancer detection. And one day, a guy called and said he found our file out in cyberspace, and he'd be happy to help us for about $40,000. I wouldn't pay him, so he turned us over to the feds. Instead of feds going after him, the feds went after me. And it's a whole story about basically government lawyers trying to be cybersecurity guys, being incompetent, working with criminals, and then covering it up because they turn corrupt. And it's all true. So that turned out to be that book has blown up, and so that we've got government investigations going on and Justice Department investigations, and it's been quite amazing.
You know, Michael, let me ask you this, and you've been on the program before, and I've already told you that when it comes to computers and anything about cyber security or whatever, I am the world's dumbest person. So you're talking to a box of rocks, but I do know that I think we've gone too far with cyber and computers and everything, to the point where can we ever get back to where we have more security about us and our personalities, or is it now just open for the world to see and the world to criticize?
I think we have to move forward to get back to that, because I don't think moving backwards is even possible. And what we did is, it's still in development, and we did a really lousy job of even thinking of privacy or security. And what we have is we've therefore ignorantly created a situation where criminals get to hide in broad daylight because they're in countries that aren't going to help us bring them to justice. Some of them work for the government. It is easy to steal, and it's very hard to hold people accountable. So we have to move forward, and what's made worse is that we've had a government that is very bureaucratic, very technologically not savvy, and they are never held accountable. So they've done a poor job of protecting the commerce of the country, because it depends on knowledge that most of them don't have, and they have to cooperate with people outside the government, and they don't do really well at that. A lot of technologists really hate the government and hate governments, and so it's hard to get cooperation with them.
Let me ask you something. You just said they're not savvy. That scared me a little bit, because in this day and age where everybody would like to poke a stick in our eye, the United States of America, they want to see us go down, whether it's North Korea, whether it's Iran or whomever. We're not savvy. Do you mean to tell me that maybe we're not as well protected as we think we are?
Oh, if you think we're well protected, I hate to ruin your day, because we're not. And we're not because so many people in the government are not involved in computers. And I'm not talking about the NSA or the FBI or the Department of Justice. I'm talking about the Office of Personnel Management, the Federal Trade Commission. I'm talking about agencies that are not really, hardcore law enforcement agencies. And so they're full of lawyers. They're not full of experts. The lawyers only care about the law. The lawyers don't care about the morality or appropriateness of the law. That's not their job. And so what we have is a real big protection racket of those people protecting their jobs, and they protect themselves from accountability. And their incompetence is, you can't help it but do a lousy job if you don't know what you're working at. And so they've attacked companies. They've not really developed anything to help companies build up defenses. They've just used the lazy man's tool, which is fear and bullying, to get compliance, and it's not going to work. I've said with the Equifax thing, I said, you can beat them up all you want, you can sue them, you can humiliate the people that got fired, but it's not that. None of that's going to help get better cybersecurity at all. And in the final stage, it's like blaming someone for getting a disease. Things are so in flux right now. The blame game is a complete waste of time.
Well, let me ask you this. Hillary Clinton with her private server in Colorado, and now we're finding out that the same stupidity has permeated itself in the Trump administration with even his son-in-law, Jared Kushner. Tell us that story.
Well, Jared Kushner was told by the NSA, as he was entering the administration, as all of them were, to be very careful about unsecured devices. Don't use unsecured computers, tablets, phones, etc. And he went ahead and used his personal email anyway, because, no one believes the tree falls down on them. Now, this is not the same as Hillary's server. We don't believe, and it might turn out that there's big secrets on there. We don't think it was. It wasn't like the coordinated behavior of the Obama administration that had so many people, intentionally speaking to each other within the government on their personal emails to avoid Freedom of Information Act requests and keep things off the grid from being found out later. That cat's been out of the bag, and it's at least really stupid that he did it. It's dumb. but it's not the same as Hillary's server, or they'd be all over him. We'll see what happens with the contents of what goes on.
How did he get...
You know, this is this is politicians not knowing much about technology, and it doesn't really matter what party they're in, but there's been way more abuse that we know of in the Democratic Party with Debbie Wasserman Schultz and Congress and them hiring the guy that tried to flee to Pakistan and Hillary Clinton's server. And what's terrifying about all that is we don't see any investigation over it.
Yeah.
And you know, so we'll see what they try to trump up with Kirshner.
Okay, let me ask you this, and this is a naive and kind of a not educated question, but how did Jared Kushner get caught? What did he do wrong? Who caught him and who turned him in?
That's a really good question. I wish I'm not sure what they did. You know, I wish I knew exactly how they found out. I mean, I don't know exactly what happened with how they actually tripped him up. I'm sorry to tell you, unless they just found it there. But you know, it's hardly used a lot. And again, you know, I don't think that there's going to be much there with Kushner other than a stupid thing to do, because I think the Democrats would be going nuts about it. But they're probably afraid to demand anything be looked at into him because they've got so much to hide themselves.
Okay, but which leads me to the next question. I know you're not a lawyer, but give me kind of your opinion on this. Why, in your opinion, has all the people like Jeff Sessions and people before him backed off from finding out more in an investigation against Hillary for what really was on there? Why do you think they're so afraid of that woman?
Because it's got to be insulting to both sides of the aisle. You know, we've already found out, for example, that Paul Ryan and I think Senator Graham, there was a total 6 of them, like, cooperated with the Hillary campaign to go after Trump. What the American public really has to understand is that a lot of, not all, but a lot of the left and the right's theater and within the public, within politics, and they protect their own. And a politician is someone, you know, protects its own because it could be them later down the road. So it depends on how egregious it is, and it depends on how mixed together it is. Because you know, the thing the internet has done is taken all the data and mixed it all together with the good guys and the bad guys. So there could be some very embarrassing stuff in there to the Republicans as well, and that would really educate the public on how really it's a swamp, and not just one side of good boys and the other side of bad boys. It's a swamp.
Let me ask you this, Michael, and you're so much ahead of me on these subjects, but okay, we're looking at a situation where 24/7, every day, there is a warning and a threat of someone like Kim Jong-un over in North Korea. I'm going to push the button and I'm going to annihilate the United States. Then we, the American public, think, boy, I'm glad that we're so far advanced with all our technological advances with computers and warfare and everything. But really, what about the launch codes? What about the maybe antiquated system? Where are we today?
Well, you know, those are surrounded by people that have actual expertise. That, you know, most of these things are about knowledge of where people are. They try to get into databases. They're not trying to get launch codes. I mean, they have no self-interest in controlling launch codes. Now, you know, Russian hackers, maybe. I highly doubt it. I just think that the obvious places that are so far down the road are so protected, and that's not where we've had, you know, the breaches. Now, where we've had the breaches in the NSA, you know, and all that has been when people have walked out with, like, Chelsea Manning or this young girl that they have, where they just walk out with stuff. There's nothing you can do about that type of thing, obviously, to make it perfect. But, you know, it's really the ancillary stuff they try to get information to, like the Office of Personnel Management. That breach, that hack, was very bad because they got like millions of fingerprints and tons of information about who's applied to the United States for employment, and some of them are employed, and where they are and what they do. That type of information is, to put a big puzzle together, is very, very damaging stuff.
Michael, one other subject that I'd like to ask you about is I noticed that it says in your book the shocking expose of the U.S. government's surveillance and overreach into cybersecurity, medicine, and small business. I've said for a long time that if we go to a single-payer health plan here in the United States, that government and the use of their computers and knowing everything about every patient, whether it's a 68-year-old guy that needs a heart transplant or a 17-year-old football player with athlete's foot, they're going to know everything about us, and they, the computers, could contribute to kind of a hemlock society of who lives and who dies. Am I wrong?
Well, I mean, I think that end might be a little extreme, but I think if you get a president that's a zealot and a persecutor like Barack Obama, it is extremely dangerous because Barack Obama did make agencies give him their data. He did analyze. It's no if. He did. He analyzed it to see where political enemies were. He did use it for housing and going after certain areas. So when you've got someone like that who wants to break the back of the system, radically change everything, feels like that the law is just in his way and that the ends justify any means, that's where it's dangerous. And also, here's what people don't also understand. It kills innovation. The government controls everything. They're very slow to approve. They don't have the best bandwidth or people approving drugs and devices. Just for example, having one person do all that will kill innovation because governments love big companies because big companies can afford the ridiculous government regulations. Big companies like big government because they're being able to afford it, and the little guy not being able to kills competition. And what company wants to have competition? So, this is what the people don't understand about the many, many negatives of what would happen with a single payer. It would be a lot of ancillary damage that would prevent a lot of innovation from occurring.
Absolutely. Now, when people get your book, The Devil Inside the Beltway, what really is the message that you want them to take away from your book and possibly get active in?
This is how they do it. The fact that the government has given itself so much power, so many trapdoors, so many escape hatches from accountability, that when they come at you and you don't bow down, they can tie your feet together and drag you through the mud and put you on a treadmill till you collapse from exhaustion and destroy you financially before you ever get to a court. And it costs millions in years. And the reason it exists is because people don't know about it. So my biggest message is, really, you've only been taught a half-truth about how the U.S. government operates if you're relying on your civics class or college education. The entire administrative state is just only now becoming known, and it took a century to build. And it runs against everything we're taught makes America great.
One last question, Michael. When you were writing this book and doing the research for this book, and you developed the title and you used the word shocking, were you shocked about some of the information that you uncovered?
Well, yes, and what I have to say is I'm really shocked after the book came out by the number of people that are perfectly fine with it or are terrified to deal with it. I think that's starting to change now. But it's just shocking. I mean, it is shocking to see your own government come up to you and exploit your patriotism. When the government comes up to you, you immediately think, well, of course it's my government. Of course I'm going to give them. They're just doing their job. And then when you realize you have a zealot lawyer with the government who just wants to have an example and will play dirty and is immunized after he sues you from any accountability. I mean, when you give a human being a completely lawless environment, they're going to go rogue. And that's what happens. And that's the big message. Is like this is what the Congresses of the past century have built, and this is why we're at such a tipping point where we see people like Lois Lerner sit there and smirk because she knows the system is protecting her. She'll not be held accountable. The worst thing that's going to happen to her, she's going to get an early retirement and a nice check, and the government's going to pay for her $1,000 an hour lawyer.
Wouldn't the same be said and or true of what's going on currently with the Mueller investigation?
Well, it seems that way because there was a one year of research and no one came up with anything, so then they doubled down and they start using these vicious intimidation tactics and getting a judge to allow them to pick a lock of a home of Paul Manafort, who is a cooperating civilian, investigation, subject of investigation. And there's no reason to blast into his home, wake him up, as if they're coming after some drug raid. That's the type of behavior that's outrageous and unprofessional. What Mueller's not used to doing is getting caught at it. These people can be vicious bullies, and it's completely inappropriate. And then adding 17 people, it just seems like it's an absolute witch hunt.
Absolutely. Now tell us, where can the book be found, The Devil Inside the Beltway?
Mostly Amazon. Barnes & Noble, you can order it. iTunes, you can get the audiobook, but Barnes & Noble's got the audiobook, the e-book, the hardcover, and the softcover. And you can learn some more at thedevilinsidethebeltway.com. You can go there and you can download the first chapter for free if you want.
Okay, well, I want to tell you how much I appreciate your coming on. Michael Doherty, cybersecurity tech analyst, thank you so much. Good luck with your book, and come back and talk to us soon.
Well, good talking to you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Wow. It's kind of spooky, isn't it? The shocking expose of the U.S. government's surveillance and overreach into cybersecurity, medicine, and small business. Wow. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate it. Calls are welcome, and we thank you. And right now we're going to do a weather forecast brought to you by, it's ugly outside. I tell you what, my outside activities, I think, got canceled. Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. The number to call, 324-7657. Delicious meats. And again, my eyes caught right on the paper. Bratwurst. Oh, they've got all the different brats and different flavors like jalapeno cheddar. Oh, that sounds good. Apple, cinnamon, German, Italian, chorizo. Oh, all kinds of meats. Delicious retail meat department at Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome, and you can go to their website, scarrowsmeats.com. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Here's your weather forecast as we saddle up and ride again for this weekend. Today, we are looking at mostly cloudy skies, looking at a 20% chance of rain showers, high near 51. Going to be a little bit on the breezy side, winds out of the west-southwest, right around 11 miles an hour. Tonight, partly cloudy skies with a low right near 30. Then for tomorrow, mostly sunny skies, high of 53. Mostly sunny and 57 for Wednesday, looking at a high of 61 for Thursday. That's your weather for Zebeth Ranch.
And Gina, thank you very much. Brought to you by Don Scarrow and the crew. Don Scarrow at Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. The number to call, 324-7657. They are changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. I just want to compliment you on the fact that you don't dealing anything that you don't know is factual. Just like when I called earlier and I'd heard that it was at the Thomas and Mack Center, that was my error. I took somebody else's word that that's what it was. And I appreciate the fact that you don't deal in speculation.
Well, I thank you for that, Keith. You got to be very careful today, especially, that you have to wait till all the facts are known or research the facts on your own. And I'm just going to be really slow to draw the gun out of the holster, and I'm going to be even slower to cock the hammer until I know all the facts.
Once again, I wish you a very happy birthday and hope everything goes well.
Thank you, my dear friend. Take care. You and Nancy are special. Thank you very much.
You bet.
All right. I want to remind everybody about our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. I know Randy's been trying to get a hold of me. Hello, Randy, my old buddy. Hey, the fall tire sale's going on right now at all 7 locations of the Les Schwab Tire Centers here in the Magic Valley. We're doing the right thing matters. That's a great byline. I like that. Passenger car tires, pickup and SUV tires on sale for your fall and winter driving right now. And from the looks of it, better head in today. I'm telling you what, they've got all the tires you need, along with the best in brake service. Highly trained technicians that know brakes and front end alignments, shocks and struts, and batteries. Boy, you better get your battery tested. They've got great batteries to make sure you can get started on those cold mornings. Stop in today and see Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley. The best. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Thank you. I get a little emotional talking about all the friends I have in this area. Talking about all the cards and the well wishes and the emails and the gifts and everything. You folks are so kind to my wife and myself, and I'm blessed. Very, very blessed. Thank you to my old buddy Wheels over at the station. The first thing he said this morning was happy birthday. God bless you, my friend. And we're going to be back here again tomorrow morning at 8:06 and ride the horse for 3 hours on Zeb at the Ranch, where we always say the way things were are the way things ought to be. God bless you and your family.